Like if you have like a really stressful job, or like being a parent can be stressful, sometimes you're just like, I just want to make something that I just want to make because I just want to make it, and I don't want to like explain it. So that feeling where art can be more about mental health and wellness, and like pushing you in a direction where you feel safe and you feel comfortable and you feel like, I'm just making this because I just want to see what it's like, or I just want to be happy. I got into printmaking in my undergrad, and through that course I explored almost every type of printmaking possible. So for me, I took it and I tried to explore with different concepts and different materials. So this piece, for example, was me exploring different types of lithography. I think at the time, the concepts I was thinking about, were rural landscapes and the disappearance of those rural landscapes. So I tried printing on different materials. This thin veneer type wood being one of them. So just kind of exploring those concepts. And the plates that we were using, it's this blue film you put on the plates, and it creates an etching from a photograph. So it's a light sensitive process, similar to silk screening, and it's a very special blue film that creates an etching, just like an etching, but you don't have to do any carving whatsoever. The film itself, it's almost like an aquatint, so that's why you're getting sort of this really unique, almost photographic-like quality of an image. It still has the etching-like quality. You can see some of the details are missing, and so that was also another really great course and another really great way to start to think about different concepts in printmaking. So although I do have a master's in fine art media, which I got into as a printmaker, I kind of stepped away from printmaking and did more videos and printed works, like written printed works, as opposed to print media printed works. So I can't say that I really made a lot of artwork until I came back to Cambridge and started teaching. So I had gotten my degree in between there, and really was at the time looking for a place where I could print, and the Riverside Print Group was the first place that I found where there was even an accessible printmaking studio that was local to me. So this introduction back into the technical skill of etching using non-toxic methods with Darryl, and getting to take a course at the studio. And so that kind of got me back into thinking about art making again after that break. And some of the first pieces that I made, the image that I put up there, is an aerial landscape, and I know one of my departures when I was done my undergrad was thinking about rural landscapes and the disappearance of, farming in general. So I think there was something still there that I really liked, that really resonated with me. So these next couple pieces are examples of different things that I had explored, when I first started printmaking again and really this is the point at which I did join the Riverside Print Groups. And so I created a number of pieces that explored, just honestly, simply explored etching. This particular piece that I just put up, this Through the Abyss, was one of the ones that I used, I think, for the very first show that I participated in with them. And that was at the Rotunda Gallery, I think in 2012 or 2011. I did do etchings for a little bit of time, and then I got pregnant. And one of the defining factors of whether I could continue to make art or not was the materials that I continued to use. And so it was a really quick pivot away from etchings and into artworks that used linoleum and water-based inks. Honestly, like here you look at the work that I was creating, and then you look at the reduction relief prints, and it's like two different people made them, to be honest. My artwork very quickly shifted from dark or single color artworks to bright and whimsical artworks, and slowly over the next few years, and even until now, they've been a reflection of being a mother of boys, being active, being athletic, very whimsical. So you'll see a lot more color, a lot more choppy, blocky shapes. I really enjoy seeing the chatter on the back of the prints. I really enjoy these hard outlines. And so some of them are a reflection of my children and that place in my life that I'm in, and some of them are a reflection of me as an athlete. I would say most of them, though, are a reflection of my children. And I also just really liked being able to get these fun textures out of it. So the rabbit was definitely one of the ones that I really enjoyed making, that had lots of fun textures in it. As well as the moose, or woodland animals. And the things that I really liked about the reduction relief prints were that you could sort of get that limited edition out of it. You could really incorporate a lot of fun, bright, vibrant colors. And I think, as much as artists don't create artworks for other people, there was sort of an accessibility about the artwork that I was creating because of the color choices I was making and because of the subject matter in them. So things like the rabbit, the moose, and even this fun rooster, I feel like people who looked at them kind of always felt like a connection to, oh, I really like that because of this, or this reminds me of this. So there seems to be a lot more connections to other people, and at the same time I was creating artwork that was a huge departure from things that I was used to, but was still just fun to kind of come up with these textures and things. And then another one that I've also really enjoyed is this lovely guy as well. And one of the other things that has been great about experimenting with relief printing and reduction reliefs is sort of that feeling of the unknown. So you start with that background image or that background layer, and you don't know if from start to finish whether it's actually going to work out. And so I've had a lot of images that might have started out as 4 colors, but really it's the last 1 or 2 layers that you really resonate or that you really like as an image. One of the things that I've sort of done, in the same vein as working with animals and things of texture, was also exploring materials that I could use from home. I have also started to explore hand printing methods and ways to print by hand. So I have started working in soft oleum. One of the pieces that you're seeing here is quite a large piece of soft oleum, and I wanted to play around again with different textures. I had always had a fascination with owls anyways, so it was kind of a fun piece to get to make. And then here's a couple more. I would say they're almost more consumer-based pieces. They're smaller, they're accessible. People like them, for children's rooms, but they're also a reflection of things that I am interested in, such as texture and bicycles. I try to use bicycles a lot, and it started as a running theme when I made my first reduction relief print about 8 years ago, and I've continued to incorporate them into some of my works while also keeping some of the animals in them as well. So it's been kind of fun to just play around with different textured animals and how I can still use multiple colors in the prints through like a brayer technique or ombre, and also have that fun texture going with it. I also like sort of the size because it fits into smaller frames, which is something that makes it slightly more accessible. I had considered playing around with textures also found in nature while still trying to print at home, while still not using a press. So this particular piece is one that I really enjoyed making And it was just me exploring what the slice of wood might look like. So it's a little bit of a departure in that it's not an animal with fur, but it's following that same vein of thinking about things that might have texture, things that might appear in nature. And then, you know, I still really do enjoy the reduction relief prints. And so as I was leading up to this show, I was thinking about trying to create another reduction relief print kind of similar to some of the bikes I had done. So I jumped back into planning a reduction relief. And as you can see, this particular one is of a tandem bicycle. It's still got that sort of whimsical choppy edge line to it. It has the chatter in the background. But it does play around with different layers of color, and I've created it in a couple of different colors. But I felt like I had kind of moved back into a type of art making that I do really enjoy, in that it's got that surprise aspect to it. I'm hoping to kind of continue in that direction and make some larger scale prints that include that similar color, like the use of colors the way I've been using it, and have sort of the textures and the choppy chatter in them as well. Yeah, so